Noted. All right. It is adopt this agenda.
Now would be the time for objection, just so everyone knows.
Thank you, Mr. Placey. The agenda has been adopted. And if somebody so moves to add something later on, we can make that adjustment. All right, so we'll just plow on through and go through all these old business and new business pieces. Some of these are new as of a little bit ago. So if I get tripped up, I'll have Mr. Placey kind of help us out here. So first things first, are Martin or Dave on the call? Doesn't look like, but I can
I
make.
cannot see them here.
Okay, I'll send a message to him real quick just to see. Okay, so we'll circle back to that. 2024 ballot access report, Mr. Mosley. Very, very in the distance.
Okay. Give me 1 second. How's that? Is that better?
It's a little bit better.
Better still? Okay, you should be hearing me now.
Yeah, you're a little far away, but I think we can make it happen.
Okay. So, all right. The 2024 project. As of today, we have 393 days until the 2024 general election. I made a post to LPGA HQ in Basecamp probably about 2 hours ago. So I'd like for all of y'all to go see it. If you've been hearing me for the last year, most of it you'll be clear about, but it's time to get into action. We are barely a year away from the 2024 general election, and I wanted to explain to you once again why this is important to me. We have had over 80 people stand for statewide offices in Georgia since the 1988 petition drive that began this whole thing. These are mostly regular folk. They would be people who would not be able to put together a petition drive of tens of thousands of petitions, signatures to get on the ballot, but they were willing to stand. And one example in my memory is a man named Herbie Galloway from the year 2002. He was our lieutenant governor candidate from that year. Herbie Galloway was not a coat and tie guy. He was a maintenance worker for the Fox Theater. For those of you who were around back then, you may remember him. and he had the demeanor of a guy that was a maintenance worker for the Fox Theater. His language was rough, and he was precocious, but he was willing, and he had the heart to stand, even though he didn't fit the picture that most people have in their mind of a politician. He still stood in there with the coat and tie crowd, went all the way through the debates, and I believe did a really good job for us. My point to you is that possibility would not have been open to Herbie had we not had the ballot access that we have right now. It is vitally important that we retain this. So what I'm asking of all of you is that you must all be aware of this. You must take it seriously, and I'm going to ask you to stretch yourselves for next year. Start reaching out to people and making them aware of why it's important to vote LP in 2024. To keep our political ideas of freedom out in public by working hard to find ways to influence people to vote for the LP presidential candidate in 2024. I have a suspicion that this may be easier than it has been in times past because we have such doofuses for all the mainstream parties. And so I think we'll see how it goes, but go read my post. Let that be a beginning for you. I need all of us to bring this to top of mind, to keep it.
And so it will be if we fall off the ballot. In today's world, we're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars to get back to where we are right now. And that's quite a setback. I mean, I know that money's, a crass, irrational thing that doesn't play into the personalities of each individual, but it is a reality. And all these things that we're doing now is so good. I don't know what it is that we're going to do. Mark says we need to all be doing it, but we need to have something clearly defined that says, here's how we get to X percentage of votes. And whatever our priorities are between now and then, they're all secondary to that number. If we don't get that number, and a lot of it's going to be beyond our control. I mean, we're going to be relying on a presidential candidate. We don't even know who it is. And the fact that there are wackos up there does help, but Perot didn't help us. If there are additional candidates on the ballot, we're not helped by additional candidates on the ballot. We're hurt because we are the alternative. And if there's more than one alternative, people who are looking for an alternative are deluded. And so we got to set our goal and figure out a way to get there, guys. So thank you, Mark, for reminding us. Now we need to figure out what it is we're doing that we're being reminded of.
Back to Mr. Mosley.
Okay, I just wanted to respond to something Jack said. I will summarize it, and I'm speaking to all of you when I say I'm looking for something that's measurable, something we can count. Now, we know that if we get over 100,000 votes for the presidential race in 2024, we are there. So that is our target. We've done 62,000 with Joe Jorgensen, but I'm looking for some way to measure how many highly likely voters will vote for LP president in 2024. I do not know how to do that at the moment, but even though we do not know how to do that, we can still exercise our reach no matter think it is. We don't know where this is going to go. If your Facebook reach is only 5 people, talk to those 5 people. We don't know. One of them may take off and run with it and get the picture. These ballot access laws are serious oppression. It is oppression like Jim Crow was oppression. It suppresses your voice. It limits free speech and free expression in the world. And we need to get that message out there as a motivation for people to take the action to vote for a presidential candidate. Okay, enough for that. You'll hear more about that. That's all. Thanks.
Perfect. And what was that number? Just one more time. The number we got to hit of votes.
Okay, if
More
we
or
go
less.
over 100, okay, if we go over 100,000, we're there. Okay. Joe Jorgensen did 62,000 in 2020. Okay. Gary Johnson did 125,000 in 2016. Both of those numbers give me heart for different reasons, but we are right there. This is within our reach, although it may seem impossible. But the measurement I'm looking for is a way to say, see, I can sit down and I can poll this group and I can say, Jared, Brian Allen, Alex, etc. And I can say, are you going to vote for the LP presidential candidate? And everybody says yes, and I can count those. That gives me, I don't know, if everybody said yes in this group, that would be, let's say, 20. That's the beginning. But we've got to stretch that. I want to stretch that beyond that, to find some way to measure that out in the rest of the world with some degree of confidence. I don't have an answer. Placing that question in front of all of you. See if we can, as a team, come up with an answer. I am searching for one as we speak, and that is what I think Jack was speaking to. And he's so that would be an important thing to do. So I'll just leave it with, this looks doable to me. I want everybody to stretch with me, and let's make this happen. This is very, very important for the future of LPGA.
Agreed. Thank you, Mr. Mosley. With that being said, and the importance of the issue impressed upon everyone, we'll move on to the next piece, which is the request for the submission of the Conestoga Valley Libertarian Party proof of membership. And Mr. Allen, I believe we have not received that. Is that correct? Or Mr. Placey?
I have not received it.
Mr. Allen, go ahead.
Yeah, I guess I just would say a request for information. Is there anyone here to submit proof of membership for the Conestoga Valley affiliate?
I do not see any members present who are here to present membership. That being said, per our bylaws, we can have a motion to void the charter of the Conestoga Valley Libertarian Party with the intent to re-affiliate it as a new multi-county affiliate. I will entertain the motion to void the current charter.
So moved.
So moved what?
Okay.
I'm
I move to
gonna grill you.
I move to void the charter of the Conestoga Valley Libertarian Party.
Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to void the charter of the Conestoga Valley Libertarian Party. Is there any debate? And thank you, Mr. Allen, for putting that in the chat in writing for us. Mr. Mosley.
Yeah, who are the key players in in this area?
We could tell you, but you most likely would not know their names. Let's see.
Tell me anyway.
I'm looking it up right now. Elizabeth, do you happen to have that on hand currently?
So the people that I spoke to were Eric Davis, Logan Alexander was they're kind of unusual in the way that they were set up. Logan Alexander was chair. They had several vice chairs, one representing each county. Take a while for it to load. So I reached out to each of those individuals, but the idea is that we want to take the lower, this was an extensive affiliate. None of the people that were currently in charge want to continue to be in charge, but we do have people that want to re-affiliate it in two separate sections. So it's not like the affiliate is going to be completely abandoned. We have people that actually want to make it active, but
I was just curious. So
Nope, totally
That's
get
all.
it. Yeah, and I have the names up real quick. Logan Smith, or possibly Logan Alexander, Casey Hinsman, Jay Choate, Suzanne Brazier, Eric Davis, Amy Smith, Corey Wimpy, and Randall Hendricks are the entirety of the officers. We have another hand that's up, Mr. Aiken.
Where is Conestoga Valley? That's one question.
It's
And why did they decide not to participate? I mean, what was it? I assume their motivation was they wanted to do something. And why did they come to be unmotivated? Do we have any insights into that?
I think other commitments is the big piece there. Elizabeth, do you have any other anything else you've heard from them other than just not wanting to continue?
yeah, the people that have replied, like one fellow, Mr. Choate, said that he's interested in participating, but is not interested in taking on a leadership position. Then there was Mr. Davis said that he's interested in just in his county being active. He's not interested in doing the Conestoga Valley as a whole. He felt that because it's a very long stretch that goes like from right up underneath that corner of Georgia from the Tennessee border to the Alabama border. And it's a very big affiliate. It was difficult to get. There was no like one central location. So he was not interested in doing anything with anything that big. Those are just some of the responses that I got. Then other people, I sent text messages and so forth. Some people didn't respond at all.
Cool. Yeah, and it's Gordon, Whitfield, Murray, and Floyd counties, which doesn't mean a lot to most of us, but Chatsworth, Calhoun, Dalton, and Rome are the big cities that we're looking at. So basically, coming from, like Elizabeth said, from the Chattanooga type area down, I guess a little bit east of it, down across through Rome to the Alabama border, which is kind of a long affiliate instead of being clustered together.
Thank you.
Very welcome. Is there any further debate? All right. It has been moved and seconded to void the charter of the Conestoga Valley Libertarian Party. Those in favor of adopting this motion, please indicate so by using the raise hand feature.
I'm seeing 12 votes.
Looks like it to me as well. You may lower your hands. So those opposed.
Not seeing any.
Perfect. The motion is adopted. The charter of the Conestoga Valley Libertarian Party is voided. Looks like we lost Zane briefly.
Oh, sorry, I just got disconnected.
It's all good. We'll move on to the next thing in the meantime. No worries. Take your time. I know it gets a little wonky. There is a possible motion on the table to authorize the expansion of the Libertarian Party of Bartow and Polk to include Floyd County. Floyd County was one of the counties that was just disaffiliated. Is there someone? There it is. Mr. Allen, would you like to speak to that or make the
Yes.
motion first and then?
Sure. I move to authorize the Libertarian Party of Bartow and Polk to expand to include Floyd County and to amend its bylaws accordingly.
Is there a second?
I second.
It's been moved and seconded to authorize the expansion of the Libertarian Party of Bartow and Polk to include Floyd County. And Mr. Allen, if you'd like to speak to that first.
Yeah, since we have people there who want to be active and expand into that county, now that we have it freed up, I say they should be allowed to.
Love it. And to be certain of that, Bartow, we have Mitch is there, Mitchell Johnson. I believe Vicky Molman. Polk County, I'm not sure who's there, but I know Floyd County, we have Edgar is there, Edgar Mills. There's another gentleman whose name I forget, but he was very interested at the last convention as well. If anyone knows that name, but those guys didn't really have much of a place to go. So they're kind of trying to join in with people who are already moving and shaking. Bolden, Andy Bolden, that's the one. It looks like Bartow County, at least, and Polk have some movement, and adding Floyd in will kind of give some continued movement to that for the people who are already meeting and being active.
It appears that Mr. Johnson has would like to speak.
Hey, I didn't see it. Thank you. Mr. Johnson?
I'd just like to speak in favor of the motion. Those three counties are a natural geographic region. It will be kind of big, but we'll figure it out. And I will contact Edgar, and I'll attempt to rewrite our bylaws with Elizabeth's help. So I'm all for it.
Perfect. Is there any further discussion or debate? Hearing none, we'll close the debate and move this to a vote. Those in favor of authorizing the expansion of the Libertarian Party of Bartow and Polk to include Floyd County and to update the bylaws of that affiliate.
I'm seeing 14.
Looks about right. All right, you can lower your hands.
Ms. Salvia, your hand is still up.
I know, sorry, this happened last time. How's the quickest way to lower my hand? I'm on an iPhone. It's like I'm trying to lower my hand.
You just press the same button that you pressed to raise the hand.
I did. Oh, it went away. Or unless somebody
Yep.
put my hand down.
Nope, you're good. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
All right, those opposed should be no one because everyone, I think, voted in favor. All right, seeing none, the motion carries. And we have authorized the expansion of the Libertarian Party of Bartow and Polk to include Floyd County and to update the bylaws of the affiliate accordingly. Moving on to the next piece, there is a resolution to recommend certificate of need elimination. Mr. Allen, if you would, if you have that available.
I am in the process of getting that pulled up.
Okay. I move the adoption of the following resolution. Whereas the platform of the Libertarian Party of Georgia states that each person has the right to offer goods and services to others on the free market, and whereas the platform of the Libertarian Party of Georgia states that all efforts by government to redistribute wealth, manage trade, or establish regulatory or bureaucratic offices to those ends are improper in a free society, and whereas the platform of the Libertarian Party of Georgia states that we oppose occupational and other licensing laws that infringe on the right of every person to earn an honest and peaceful living through the free and voluntary exchange of goods and services or treated as a state-granted privilege, and whereas in 1979, the Georgia General Assembly passed a certificate of need law which requires healthcare providers to seek approval from the state in order to operate as currently outlined in Georgia Code Title 31, Chapter 6, Article 3, and whereas the empirical evidence shows that certificate of need laws are ineffective, their stated goals of controlling costs and ensuring access to healthcare services, and whereas in actuality, certificate of need laws serve to cartelize the healthcare industry by creating barriers, making it difficult and costly in terms of both time and money for new providers to enter the market. And whereas this cartelization harms consumers by reducing supply, increasing costs, and stifling innovation. And whereas on March 27, 2023, the Georgia Senate passed Senate Resolution 279, creating the Senate Study Committee on Certificate of Need Reform. And whereas on March 29, 2023, the Georgia House of Representatives passed House Resolution 603, creating the House Study Committee on Certificate of Need Modernization. And whereas these study committees have sought to gather information and recommendations from the public on how to reform Georgia's certificate of need laws, and whereas we support reforms that fall short of our own recommendation, so long as they are moving policy towards our ultimate goal, therefore be it resolved that the Libertarian Party of Georgia, 1, recommends the complete elimination of certificate of need laws in the state of Georgia, and 2, supports creating additional certificate of need exemptions for healthcare providers, including, but not limited to, acute care hospitals, ambulatory surgery centers, birth centers, and nursing homes, and 3, supports reducing the ability of existing providers to object to the granting of certificate of need, and 4, opposes making certificate of need reforms dependent upon increased government spending or regulation, including but not limited to Medicaid expansion, hospital subsidies, and greater licensure requirements.
Mr. Chair, you're muted.
Of course I am. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt the following resolution as shown on the screen and as read. Is there any debate? Mr. Dolan.
I just wanted to say excellent job, and I appreciated the discussion
For all your hard work on this and everything else that you're doing for the party. You're doing a great job. Keep it up.
Thank you, sir. If there's no other discussion, we will move this to a vote. Those in favor of adopting this resolution as presented, please raise your hands. You can lower your hands. Those opposed? All right, the motion carries. We have now adopted this resolution, which is to recommend certificate of need elimination in the state of Georgia. Moving on to the next thing, my report is semi-short. Basically, I met with Representative Donahue